Hello and welcome to this chocolate and cheese. My name is Dom and this is Lou, and I almost messed up that very simple line. Anyway, it is Monday the 23rd of March and we have a sweet treat for you. We have Apple Crumble, a very simple dish. Lou suggested this. If you have no cooking or baking skills whatsoever, you can still make this wonderful, wonderful treat.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So to make this, you will need the following. For the filling, you will need 2 apples, a couple of sultanas. Now, Lou usually takes 2 handfuls for this. Then 25 grams of sugar, a little bit of cinnamon, and about half a teaspoon of flour. Now, this is just for the filling. Now, for the crumble, that's the stuff that actually goes on top of your apple crumble. You need 150 grams of flour, 85 grams of sugar and 100 grams of butter and a bit of salt as well. Now these are the main ingredients. You will also have to have an oven-proof dish, okay, which you should butter so that the whole thing doesn't stick to it, okay. Now Lou has just started actually preparing these 2 apples. You basically just have to slice them up, make like little cubes, I would say, okay, so quite small. And what are we doing next actually? So you've prepared the apples now.
And then sprinkle all sugar.
And then you need to put some of that sugar. You said we need about 25 grams of that, exactly. So you put the sugar now on top of these apples. Exactly. And what happens after that?
And then put sultana.
Then you put some of the sultanas, it depends how many you want actually. Could you actually make it without sultanas just in case people
Yeah.
If you really hate sultanas, you don't have to put them in. What could you put something instead of these sultanas? Is there anything else you can think of? I think maybe some other dried fruits, possibly.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe like dates or something. If you really like dates, chop up some dates.
I've never tried.
Well, you've never tried it, but maybe you want to try. Maybe you want to try that. Okay. I'm talking quite loud. I can see that actually. I'm way too close to the microphone. Okay, so I'm going to
also flour.
Yeah, and we need some flour, obviously. Like I said, you need this half teaspoon of flour for the filling, and this is what Lou is preparing at the moment. Okay, so just this half teaspoon of flour also into the mix of the apple and the sugar, and then you would mix it all together.
All together.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, and Lou is now mixing this, this apple sugar mix, and then you already put the flour as well and a little bit of cinnamon, and now you also just put in some of these sultanas. Okay, so this is making.
Sultanas,
oh yes, she does. Yeah. So this is really your basic filling. It's like I said, it's very, very easy. So you just mix that really nicely through, and I can already smell it now. It's really, really lovely. It's a very nice and sweet flavor.
Already want to eat?
Yeah, I already want to eat that, exactly. Coming from, I can smell that cinnamon. That's really lovely. Yeah. So now that you have prepared the filling, you can now straight away turn to the actual crumble making. And for that you will need, as we said before, you need 150 grams of this flour. Now this is what Lou is doing. She's putting the flour now into another bowl, exactly. And she's obviously using a kitchen scale to make sure she has the exact amount. I think this is really important actually when it comes to baking. I've realized myself, when you cook things, the measurements don't matter that much, obviously I don't overdo it on certain things, but in baking you have to be almost bang on if you do any mistakes there. So make sure you use a scale actually, especially when it comes to flour. So 150 grams of flour now goes into that bowl. And once you've done that, what would you put next then, Lou?
Sugar. Okay,
and then you would just put the sugar there. Like I said before, it's 85 grams of sugar. It's quite a lot. Obviously, you want it to be quite sweet. Would be a very nice combination with the rather sour apples. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the flour and sugar is in the bowl, and Lou is just adding this pinch of salt. That's always quite nice. And she starts to mix it now all together quite gently.
Just the powders.
Yeah. It's just the powders really, so it's very dry at the moment. And what you will then add is finally the butter. So
You
this
have
is
to cut like dice.
so 100 grams of butter, which you will have prepared early on. You make just like little dices. Okay, so you finally chop up this butter. It should be quite cold, so otherwise you can't slice it properly. And then you actually mix it into this dry powder mix. Okay, so Lou is putting in the butter, and like we just said, you should ideally make like little cubes, 1 centimeter cubes. But as I can see, Lou's not actually bothering to do this at all. She's just putting the butter there straight away in that, making sure it's 100 grams as we said before, and we'll then start to actually stir it all around. Okay, now that all the ingredients are in that bowl, Lou is now using her fingers to make that crumble. What exactly are you doing? Are you trying to break these lumps up into like tiny little bits, yeah?
Yeah,
okay.
But into the powder.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Just
So you're mixing it all together, making sure that the butter really breaks up in case you haven't actually, done the dices, which you don't have to. By the way, you can also use margarine, obviously, if you don't want to use butter or you don't have butter. Yeah. So you're really just mixing it all nicely together, but you don't really want to have any anything like a paste. Yeah.
Like a dough.
Yeah. You need to make sure that it stays crumbly. That's really, really important. You see, it's an apple crumble. Okay. So the whole thing should be wet but still dry at the same time. You're trying to just break up this whole thing.
You rub
or you can even rub your hands, because that stuff is really, really sticky. Okay, so you just rub your hands, and that creates all this wonderful crumbly texture, which will then go on top of your apples. Okay, the ones that you prepared as part of the filling. Okay, so you keep doing that as well. Yeah, wonderful.
It's nice.
And just like the apples from before as a filling, what Lou is doing there with the crumble, it just smells so wonderful. It kind of like reminds me of cookie crumble ice cream. Wonderful, wonderful. I could just eat it like this. You don't even have to put it in the oven. I absolutely love it. I love that smell.
You have to.
So enough of that crumbling action now. Lou is now preparing to put the apples, the actual filling, into the oven-proof dishes or dish. If you have a large dish, you can just put it in there. We actually have 2 smaller ones, which is quite nice. So one for me, one for Lou. Putting all the apples in there now. And do you have to make it like kind of flat then towards the end? Just shake it about a little bit. Yeah. So they're all nicely settled inside the bowl. So you put all the apples then. And then once you've done that, you put the
crumble on top.
Just the crumble on top, yeah. Once you have all the apples in there, you put the crumble mixture that you've just done just on top of that, And that is actually almost the end of it. Once you've done that, you would have to then obviously put this in the oven. How long do you have to put this in the oven actually? She has no idea. This is very, very funny. She can't say. She really can't say. Yeah, so it just occurred to you it must be about 15 minutes, and you put this into the oven preheated to around 180 degrees, okay, for about 15 minutes. And then you have it. And what do you actually have with the apple crumble? I'm sure there are some things that you can really have with it. That's going to be delicious.
My favorite is vanilla ice cream.
Vanilla ice cream, absolutely love it.
Vanilla cream, vanilla sauce.
Okay, just some custard, cream, yeah.
With raspberry sauce.
Or some raspberry sauce, absolutely. I guess with some fruits even, on the side, absolutely. But it's either usually, like some custard or ice cream, or maybe even some double cream or whipped cream. Whipped cream? Can you put whipped cream with that? Oh, wonderful. Yeah. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this. Good luck with actually making this yourself. I think it's a very, very easy to do dish. And enjoy. Let us know what you think.